Tonight, we are lucky enough to be in Canberra to see Guy Gilchrist, Jim Henson's personal artist, comic book artist, creator of so many memories of our childhood. Let's go. Thanks for being with us, Guy.
Great to be with you.
Guy,
Yeah.
what first sparked your drawing passion? And did you think it would lead to meeting Jim Henson and working for Jim Henson?
My mother, taught me how to draw Bugs Bunny and stuff. And we spent a lot of time, drawing Disney characters. And I was very, very enchanted with Walter Lantz. I told my mom, I told my mom when I was like 3 or something like that, I'm going to go to work for Walter Lantz.
Oh, wow.
And then she says, and then by 4, you're saying like, so I'm going to work for Mr. Lantz, and then he's going to teach me everything he, knows. And then I'm going to open up, my own studio and make millions of people happy. And so it was always, this is what I'm doing. There was no, I don't remember, there was nothing else. I wanted to the only other thing I truly wanted to be was left fielder for the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Because Ted Williams had been, and he was my hero, and his greatest hitter that ever lived, and then Kari Stremski was left fielder. And I did play a lot of baseball.
Wow.
And I credit baseball for my focus.
Wow.
Because you can't play ball, and be not right there in the moment. And so that's very important. But it was always, I was going to do this. Who I was going to work for, I didn't know. It never occurred to me that it was going to be hard.
You just knew you wanted to do it. You believed in yourself and you wanted to do it.
Yeah, that was it. When I was about 13, I took a train for the first time to New York, and because I wanted to swim with the big fish. Yeah. And even though I knew that I was no good.
Did you lie about your age to get a job? Is that true?
No, I didn't lie. I didn't lie.
Story.
I just didn't say.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't say.
No.
No, I just got in the line.
Okay.
It wasn't a job, it was a tryout.
Okay.
And it was for DC Comics, which I'm not a good, superhero guy, but it was an opportunity. So I got in the line. George Perez, who became very famous, was in the line. Mike Whalen, who became incredibly famous, was also in the line. We all met each other.
That's amazing.
And we were all in line. It was called DC's Spotlight Apprentice program. And they gave me a script, and me not knowing anything about how anything worked, I took it home. It was a 4-page Teen Titans, and it was a Teen Titans, with Wonder Girl and Speedy and Kid Flash, and they had a Doom buggy.
Yeah.
It was out of sight, man, And so without me knowing any better, I just drew the entire thing, lettered the entire thing, inked the entire thing, never showed it to the editor, brought it in. I'm sure it was a disaster, but he was extremely kind to me. And when he said, well, what's your Social Security number and stuff, I had no idea. And so he pulled a couple $100 out of his pocket, handed it to me, and said, well, come on back.
Wow.
When you're, 16 or whatever, because you were supposed to be 16 to be in it. And I was like 13.
Yeah.
And by the time I was 16, though, that was the day that I got my very first job with Disney.
Oh, wow.
Doing a coloring book for Disney.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of comics and DC, well, let's go to Marvel. You and Stan Lee were quite good friends?
We were very good friends.
And was that through art? Is that how you became good friends? So, was it a
good question. How did we get to be friends?
I met him years ago. He's a gem of a person.
Okay, I remember now. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, we knew each other for like 38 years.
Wow.
We barely ever worked together. I was doing I sold a comic that was based on MTV, and it was called The Rock Channel, and it was the first year of MTV. And I just did caricatures of the current rock stars like Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Van Halen, whoever. And I made up these VJs, and it was sort of like,
VJs.
we had a show in the States called WKRP in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Where it was like it was a comedy, a sitcom that was based on like a rundown radio station. So I just used the backstage at MTV and created this thing. I sold it to the same syndicate as a comic strip that Stan's stuff was in, all the Marvel comic strips, like Spider-Man, Hulk. And anyway, I was in the editor's office in Des Moines, Iowa. He said, "You want to talk to Stan Lee?" I said, "Sure." He was living in Malibu on the beach at the time. This would have been 1981, 81, I think. And Stan was just great. We talked for about like an hour. And then as time went on, Stan was always the first one to like send a nice congratulatory note in or something like that
so lovely.
on not only anything that I ever did, but also the National Cartoonist Society would have, like a tribute to one of our, really, distinguished people.
Yeah.
And Stan would always be the first to send a letter in
that's
and
so
all that
nice
kind of
of
thing.
you.
And then somewhere, it was just before Jim passed, so it had to be like 88, I'm going to say, somewhere in there. And he called me up, and because I had worked with Jim and Sesame Street and all of that, Stan had this idea that he could use the Marvel characters in children's books for very young kids, but to teach moral lessons and social things like conflict, like how to stop a conflict, how to be polite even, manners, that sort of thing. Be a good person, be a good sport. And the company, everybody thinks Stan was the company. No. Stan didn't own the company. And so Stan called me and said, "I want to do these books. And I know that you already know how to do these. So would you paint me covers and double page spreads, just like the books have already been done, and we'll put them together as fake books.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take them over to Frankfurt, Bologna, and stuff. And I'm going to sell so many of them without them actually being done. When I come home, they'll have to make them. You'll do them if you want. I can't pay you very much. It's out of my own pocket. But I truly believe in this thing." I said, "Sure, Stan." And so then
wonderful.
I called Kurt Swan, the number one Superman artist of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I said, "You want to do some Marvel stuff off the books without,
Yeah.
And he said, "Yes, if you'll ink me." So I got to ink the great Kurt Swan, the greatest Superman artist ever was. And so I did that for Stan. And Stan never forgot it. He did me favor after favor after favor. I absolutely loved the man very, very deeply.
I'm sure he loved you too.
Yeah.
If you could be any Muppet, who would you be and why?
If I could be any Muppet, well, pretty hard to beat New Zealand because all he does is throw boomerang fish. And that sounds like an incredible life to have, It wouldn't be Gonzo because I don't want to wear a crash helmet every single day of my life. And I'm no good at juggling a piano and a bowling ball that's on fire at the same time. Bo's got a pretty good life. He's got a good attitude. About cleaning up the theater. But I'll go with Rolf. Rolf the dog. Sure. Because then I can rest my drawing hand and maybe just tickle the 88s with one paw.
What is your
I'm a good boy.
What is your favorite Jim Henson movie? Mine is Labyrinth.
Well, I have a 4-way tie, and there's no way you can get around it. And it's because, I was, I had just watched the original Muppet movie when I got the opportunity to audition for Jim. The day I met Jim, he was, he had just come back from London to New York, and he was doing Dark Crystal and Caper at the same time. So of course those, come on, that was the day we met. And then Muppets Take Manhattan, all of us that worked at Henson Associates and families and everybody, we were all extras in that movie. I mean, all my stuff I think is on the cutting room floor. And you don't, but I can see people in the back that were, everybody that worked at Henson Associates and their families are in that movie.
What were you?
What's that?
What were you?
No, it's just crowd things. It's just, you're in the train, you're in the thing, you're there, I wasn't anything. It was all, all of us. But but Jerry Nelson actually had, him and his daughter, and Jim gave his daughter a speaking part so that she could get her SAG card, in that movie. So that to me is like home movies from the 1980s. So I can't pick.
What do you think Kermit and Miss Piggy would want every kid to know?
Well, Piggy would want every kid to know that she is the biggest star in the entire world and that no one will ever be any bigger because she's the most talented, the most beautiful, and underappreciated. But, when you're that elite, But she would also tell every child that they can be anything that they want to be, except the greatest, because she is. But you can be second to great. But she would want you to know to always go after what you want, to never, ever, ever, ever quit, and that you are much stronger than you think you are, and, get a good left hook and a good karate chop. As far as Kermit, I think that Kermit would want every child to know that truly, if you work hard at anything that you really like, you're going to get really, really good at it. And so if you're really, really good at it and you practice a lot, then there's truly no limit to what you can do. It's all up to you because the magic is in you. Jim used to say, the only way the magic works is through hard work. But hard work can be fun.
I know you share your art with others, so I made you something.
You made me something?
I made that for you. She did it for you this week. Because you give your art to everyone else. So we wanted to give you something. And you do it to make people happy. And
Come and stand behind him.
I do do it to make people happy. Oh, give it, look.
And it's a Rainbow Harbour Bridge because it's your first time in Australia. Is that right? Oh,
Yeah.
so she made you a Rainbow Harbour Bridge instead of a rainbow connection.
That came out so awesome. Thank you so much. The dreamers and me, la da da dee.